This is the NewsFeed at noon.
A senseless death of a deputy in Houston leaves the department along with the community in shock. And they grew up as best friends. Now only the memory remains for one. Plus, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris continue to campaign throughout the Midwest, hoping for more votes as November draws near. Chuck Ambrose will lay out the weekend weather forecast and the next 7 days.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the Newsfeed. I'm John Patterson.
And I'm Lauren. We begin this afternoon in Houston as local police are working to identify a suspect after a Harris County deputy constable was shot and killed while driving to work. According to Houston Police Chief Noe Diaz, a man got out of his car and fired multiple shots into Deputy Constable Mahir Husseini's vehicle. Husseini was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Husseini is reportedly the second Texas law enforcement officer.
An unfortunate, a tragic incident where a local constable was shot at this intersection by an assailant who we have yet to identify. Our crime scene is working the scene now. The deputy now is unfortunately been pronounced deceased.
Staying in Texas, police in San Antonio say the use of seatbelts could have led to a very different outcome in a crash that left 6 children critically injured and 3 others also hurt. The single vehicle crash happened Sunday. 7 kids and 2 adults were in the vehicle, but only 1 child was wearing a seatbelt. The other 6 children were ejected in the crash. They were all between the ages of 2 and 11. Authorities said that if the children had been wearing seatbelts, they likely would not have been thrown from their vehicle. The crash remains under investigation, but according to a preliminary report, the SUV driver will face charges of endangering a child. A witness told police the vehicle had a tire blowout and the driver lost control and hit a tree.
They grew up as best friends. Now one has to do the unthinkable, help identify the motive of his best friend's killer. Corley Peel has more.
A little sister is how Dipendra Kunwar describes Muna Pandey. Kunwar asked not to show his face, but says they grew up together in Nepal.
She came over here with nothing, built a life for herself, got herself an apartment, got herself a car. She was due to graduate with associates this semester. She was confident, she was loving, she was kind.
Last week, he learned Pandey was found shot to death inside her apartment. Police immediately asked for Kunwar's help, checking Pandey's surveillance camera.
What did that surveillance video show?
That I think we're guessing that she was followed her when she tried to open her door. The man came with a gun and told her to open her door and let him in. She had no idea that he was waiting for her.
About an hour later, the man was seen leaving Pandey's apartment, taking off with her phone and purse. Police released this photo. Several people identifying him as 51-year-old Bobby Shaw.
Did you recognize Bobby Shaw? Had you seen him before?
No, because we've never seen him before.
Do you know how they know each other?
No, because she never mentioned him ever. She never mentioned him at all.
Records show the only possible known connection is Shaw was a frequent customer at a restaurant that Pandey worked at about a year ago. A year ago is when Kunwar helped install Pandey's camera after she had concerns about a possible stalker.
Some guy was over her windows and stuff, and she thought someone was following her, and then they were walking around her windows and doors, something like that. So she called me. She also called the police.
The potential stalker was never identified. Kunwar hoping for more answers about Pandey's tragic murder.
What do you want Bobby Shaw to know?
I think we just want to know why.
At least 8 people at a Texas county fair were hospitalized after some bleachers collapsed. Authorities say the incident happened during a rodeo at the Kendall County Fair Saturday night. Witnesses say the bleachers were full of people when the seats collapsed, causing attendees to fall to the ground. A number of people jumped in to help hold the bleachers up while injured people got to safety. Officials are conducting safety inspections of the rodeo grounds Sunday before opening the fair back up. A Northern California man is behind bars accused of slaughtering dozens of animals in Monterey County. According to police, the animals were shot and killed early Tuesday morning. Felix Cortez is there.
The shooting spree started around 3:30 Tuesday morning on the 16,000 block of Avery Lane in Prunedale.
I just figured a neighbor was scaring away a coyote. Second shot I heard, I thought the same thing. It's really not that uncommon out here. And then right after that, it was just a boom for like 15 seconds. And then at that point, I knew something wasn't right.
By daylight, the alleged gunman, 39-year-old Vicente Arroyo, was in custody without incident. And the slaughter he's accused of carrying out in plain sight. Dozens of farm animals shot dead.
It is a horrible scene. We are very fortunate that no human lives were lost, but we are estimating that almost 100 animals, different types of animals, were killed in this incident. We've got goats and rabbits, guinea pigs, chickens, a small horse, and unfortunately all of these animals were killed during this incident.
Deputies say Arroyo has family in the area and may have recently moved there. Investigators say he was armed with a large cache of firearms. Hundreds of rounds were fired, triggering a shelter-in-place and SWAT response.
The gunfire started down there. And at that point, we just hunkered down. I had my wife and my kid get down on the floor, away from a window as low as we could get.
We don't have any information that he was looking for anyone specific. It appears from what we see, the animals were the targets that he chose to go after today.
The shooting spree even leaving veteran officers in shock.
I've been doing this for 24 plus years now, and no, I've unfortunately never seen anything like this when it comes to animal life lost. It's very tragic, very unfortunate.
Both presidential candidates are trying to position themselves to become the front runner in November's election. All Americans have to decide, do you vote for policies or the person? National headlines are on the way.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
I taught for 20 years, but I started forgetting my lectures. Eventually, he had to quit. My therapist recommended we go to the doctor. The early Alzheimer's diagnosis allowed us to take control of the situation. He's been such a positive force and so loving. Thank you. You're welcome.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Vice President Harris is set to take the stage in New Hampshire, where she will reveal her second wave of economic proposals. During her speech, Harris will unveil some new benefits for entrepreneurs and small business owners. According to a Harris campaign official, she plans to call for expanding a tax deduction for costs associated with starting a business and to call for removing regulatory hurdles like filing requirements and operational licenses for businesses of a certain size. It's an attempt by the Harris campaign to appeal to a critical middle-class constituency that could help boost her chances in November. Former President Trump believes Pennsylvania voters aren't going to buy that Vice President Kamala Harris now supports fracking. In an interview with CNN, Harris explained she has shifted her opinion on fracking, which is a key industry in the Commonwealth.
The people of Pennsylvania are smart. They're not going to fall for it. She will destroy. If you don't have fracking, you don't have a Commonwealth. She also imposed a crippling natural gas export ban on Pennsylvania oil and gas, another catastrophe for your state.
According to a source familiar with the matter, there is close coordination between the West Wing, the vice president's office, and the campaign on plans to get Biden on the road where most helpful. Today, he's joining Harris at a campaign event in the key battleground state of Pennsylvania. Labor Day marks the final sprint toward Election Day.
Don't we love Labor Day?
And Vice President Kamala Harris is using the holiday to reach working class voters.
We celebrate the dignity of work. The dignity of work. We celebrate unions because unions helped build America, and unions help build America's middle class.
With a stop in Detroit, followed by a stop in Pittsburgh with President Joe Biden.
Folks, we made a lot of progress, and Kamala and I are going to build on that progress, and she's going to build on it. I'll be on the sidelines, but I'll do everything I can to help.
After abandoning his re-election bid, the president has worked to transition from candidate to campaign surrogate.
We have to win Pennsylvania, my original home state. I'm going to be campaigning in other states as well. And I'm going to do whatever Kamala thinks I can do to help most.
He's re-emerging with an initial series of events. In the coming days, he'll make stops in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, the critical blue wall states where he narrowly beat former President Donald Trump in 2020. It's not clear yet how often Biden and Harris will campaign together. One ally said that they could take a divide-and-conquer approach in the lead-up to Election Day. Discussions are also underway to determine how the president can be utilized on the fundraising circuit in the fall. On top of looking to boost Harris's candidacy, Biden is also hoping to use this period to zero in on key goals on domestic and foreign policy that he wants to address before leaving office. Reporting at the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
I taught for 20 years, but I started forgetting my lectures. Eventually, he had to quit. My therapist recommended we go to the doctor.
The early Alzheimer's diagnosis allowed us to take control of the situation.
He's been such a positive force and so loving.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
I don't remember how it started.
Talk to Dad.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the NewsFeed. I'm Chuck Ambrose. Here's your forecast for the DFW Metroplex. Today, Friday, September 6th, we're expecting a mix of sun and clouds. High temperatures will reach around 90 degrees Fahrenheit with winds out of the northeast at about 10 to 20 miles per hour tonight. Skies will clear up and the low will drop to around 67 degrees. As of this afternoon, we're seeing a band of showers and thunderstorms moving through the region. This activity currently impacting areas north and west of Fort Worth, including Denton, McKinney, and Flower Mound. We're also seeing some rain in the Waco area. These storms are expected to continue moving eastward through the afternoon and into the evening. Looking ahead to the weekend, we have a mixture of sun and clouds and some chances for rain. However, a cold front moving through the region this evening will bring drier air and a significant cool down. Here's the breakdown. Tomorrow, Saturday, September 7th, expect a mostly sunny day with highs near 88. There is a slight chance of isolated showers or thunderstorms, mainly in the afternoon or evening. Sunday, another sunny day is in store with a high of 84 degrees. However, temperatures will be noticeably cooler than the previous days, with lows dipping into the mid to upper 50s across much of north and central Texas. As we head into next week, the weather pattern will remain relatively dry with abundant sunshine. Temperatures will likely remain below 90 degrees through the weekend and into early next week. However, there's a slight chance of rain returning to central Texas by the middle of next week as moisture increases and a potential upper level disturbance moves into the region. Overall, the weather pattern will change significantly over the next few days. We'll see a transition from warm and humid conditions with scattered showers to cooler, drier weather and plenty of sunshine. Here's a brief look at next week. Monday, September 9th, sunny with a high of 85 and a low of 61. On Tuesday, partly cloudy with a high of 88 and a low of 68. Then on Wednesday, September 11th, morning showers are possible with a high of 87 degrees and a low of 69. More morning showers are expected on Thursday with a high of 86 and a low of 70. Then Friday the 13th, if our luck holds out, we will have a nice day. Otherwise, scattered showers are possible with a high of 87 and a low of 70. Saturday, September 14th, morning showers are possible with a high of 89 and a low of 71. Then on Sunday, September 15th, look for partly cloudy skies and a high of 90. Overall, the weather pattern will remain warm and humid with chances for rain throughout the week. Be sure to stay tuned to NOAA Weather Radio, especially if you have outdoor plans next week. Have a great rest of your week.
An 11-year-old boy is being held on a $500,000 bond after police say he fatally shot a former city leader and the man's adult daughter in a small Louisiana town. The town, Minden, is about 30 miles east of Shreveport. One of the victims is a former mayor of the town.
The small, tight-knit community of Minden, Louisiana has a population of just over 12,600. The town is grappling with the death of one of its pillars, 82-year-old Joe Cornelius Sr. He was a former longtime Minden City Councilman and former interim mayor. They say a child, who was only described as a relative of the victims, has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He's accused of killing Cornelius and his adult daughter, 31-year-old Keisha Miles. Police say each victim was shot multiple times, and they believe multiple guns were used in the killings because they recovered 2 weapons, their calibers matching empty shell casings left at the scene. Police Chief Jarrett McIver says they are still trying to piece together the rest of the puzzle. According to Shreveport affiliate KSLA, Cornelius, a longtime public servant, may have owned guns because of his previous role in law enforcement. Neighbors told them before the shooting an argument broke out between Cornelius and the minor about credit card charges over video games. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
A 9-year-old girl in Georgia is inspiring her community with her passion for conservation. She's dedicated to making sea life a little bit safer by removing trash from her local beaches. Bronte Sorotsky brings us the story.
Labor Day weekend, drawing in crowds to Tybee, as well as trash littered throughout the island.
I know some weird things are we've picked up a whole entire bracelet of beads that have been falling apart. We've picked up a lot of bottle caps, a ton of cigarette butts, a few straws.
Thankfully, 9-year-old Lydia Clever, or Liddy, her mom, and some other volunteers are working hard to clean as much of Tybrisa Street as they can.
I adopted Tybrisa Street out here in Tybee because of my nonprofit, and I wanted to get all of the trash up.
One day, after noticing how much trash was left at the beach whenever she would visit, Liddy started cleaning herself, even wanting to donate a cleanup station with trash buckets and grabbers to her school.
The principal said I couldn't do it because they only accepted donations from nonprofits.
So, the nonprofit Save Sea Life with Liddy was born, organizing cleanups on Tybee Island every month, if not more.
She's like, wait, if we can teach other kids to care, then we won't have a beach to clean up because they'll know not to put trash on it.
Now, 3 years later, the nonprofit has grown beyond just organizing cleanups.
And with the pretty trash, Lydia actually keeps it and she makes trash art out of it. So she'll make whale tails, sea turtles, giant canvases.
Liddy sells this art, saving up to help a local sea turtle at the Tybee Island Marine Science Center.
She's raising money for Westies Tracker, so I think we're about $300 away. She's already raised $900.
That's not all for the 9-year-old. She's published 2 books, teaching about humans' impact on our oceans and about endangered sea creatures. When asked how long Liddy plans to keep organizing these cleanups,
I don't think I'll ever stop doing this because it makes me really, really happy to know that I'm giving back to the community.
in her message to any kids out there watching, no act is too small, and you're never too young to make a difference.
You still have a chance to win big. There was no jackpot winner in Tuesday night's Mega Millions drawing. The jackpot now grows to an estimated $740 million. Although there was no jackpot winners, 2 tickets matched all 5 numbers. Those lucky people in Kansas and Michigan won $1 million. The next Mega Millions drawing is tonight. Keep it here. The newsfeed at noon. We'll be back.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
I taught for 20 years, but I started forgetting my lectures.
Eventually, he had to quit.
My therapist recommended we go to the doctor.
The early Alzheimer's diagnosis allowed us to take control of the situation.
He's been such a positive force and so loving.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
New photos show the dramatic decay occurring on the underwater wreckage of the Titanic. The images were taken in July by the RMS Titanic, an American company that has salvage rights to the doomed vessel. They show a previously intact railing around the ship's upper deck that has fallen off. The 15-foot section now lies on the seafloor. RMS Titanic says it's saddened by the inevitable decay, and it will continue to preserve and document what it can as the ship's condition changes.
The July expedition was the company's 9th since it first started exploring the wreckage in 1987. It led to the discovery of a 2-foot-tall bronze statue of the Roman goddess Diana, which once sat on a fireplace mantel in the Titanic's first-class lounge. The Titanic wreckage sits on the floor of the North Atlantic Ocean, where it sunk after hitting an iceberg in 1912.
It's a new school year, and some students are returning to class with existing and new bans on electronic devices and clothing in effect. Some school districts make their students lock their smartphones and other electronic devices in magnetic pouches or their lockers. Wardrobe bans can include open-toe sandals and even Crocs and foam clogs. An El Paso, Texas middle school banned all black outfits this year because of an association with mental health issues such as depression. Sweatshirts with hoods and pockets may be banned to reduce opportunities for hiding, using, and distributing prohibited items. And an Alabama school district removed mirrors from the girls' restroom to keep them from recording videos for social media in them. The boys' bathrooms never had mirrors. Earlier this week, a statue honoring the late astronaut Krista McAuliffe was unveiled at the State House in Concord, New Hampshire. The ceremony happened on what would have been McAuliffe's 76th birthday.
McAuliffe was one of the 7 crew members killed in the 1986 Space Shuttle Challenger explosion. She was a Concorde teacher and would have been the first teacher in space. Her memorial statue has been in the works for several years. The explosion that destroyed the Challenger after liftoff was a result of a rocket booster failure, which ignited the fuel tank.
Lauren, it's great to finally see you behind the desk.
It's great to be here. I hope y'all enjoyed. Thank y'all for joining us, and we'll see y'all next Friday at noon.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
I taught for 20 years, but I started forgetting my lectures.
Eventually, he had to quit.
My therapist recommended we go to the doctor.
The early Alzheimer's diagnosis allowed us to take control of the situation.
He's been such a positive force and so loving. Thank you. You're welcome.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.